Hello everyone, my name is Trevor, I go by the Mr. Trails, and welcome to the channel. And for today's video, I'm going to be posting my first little meme build, and that's something I haven't done quite yet. There are thousands upon thousands of potential combinations of builds for Dauntless, and today we'll be turning our gaze from the builds that I put out that are generally good to one that's like, okay. Before we get into the video, I just want to mention that I do not advocate for people using this build. It's not very good. The point of making a meme build is to have fun and put a twist on the things you would usually do in the game. The meme build idea for today was to put out a build with 12+3 perks inside. And honestly, your build doesn't end up looking all that bad. There aren't really any horrible perks per se. Everything you put into the build increases your DPS. It's just that some of the perks in the build will be utilized much better when they are at a +6. So there are a couple of different spin-offs that I did of this, but let's start with what I think would be probably the best one. You'd want to use a Thrax weapon for everything besides War Pike, which we will get to shortly. I'll be using the Riftstalker bond for these weapons, but you could achieve some fun results with the Shroud bond. Inside the Thrax weapon, I have the Evasive Fury and Etheric Frenzy cells. We have the Rezakiri helmet with Berserker inside for Conduit and Berserker +3. We have the Shroud chest piece for 3 Rage and 3 Rage Hunter. We have the Torgadoro gloves for Overpower with Discipline slotted inside. We have the Koshai feet with Etheric Attunement, and for this version we will be rocking the Pangar lantern with Catalyst. If you choose to use the Drask or Ebermain lantern with this sort of a challenge, you'd want to change the Etheric Frenzy from your Thrax weapon to a Zeal cell. So our perk summary is looking like 3 Etheric Attunement, 3 Etheric Frenzy, 3 Berserker, 3 Catalyst, 3 Conduit, 3 Discipline, 3 Evasive Fury, 3 Overpower, 3 Predator, 3 Rage, 3 Rage Hunter, and 3 Wild Frenzy. So let's take a look at the issues with running all +3s. Issue number 1 is that some cells are not optimized when at +3, in that they will have less than 50% of their +6 counterpart's value. Etheric Attunement, for example, is 50% when at +6, but is only 20% at +3. Issue number 2 is that +3 cells often miss out on a bonus effect from going over +4. With Catalyst, for example, we'd be missing out on the extra tonic duration, which is honestly something that this build could desperately use. Another issue that presents itself is even if a cell isn't suboptimal at +3, it would have been better to have the +6 variant. A great example is actually a fight I had with Rezakiri when I was running Strikers. I was actually able to keep the thing down for the majority of the fight, which means I was making a lot of use out of the Overpower +3 that I had. However, if Overpower +3 was even only Overpower +4, it would have died without me taking damage. However, I ended up exhausting all of the part breaks that I could have utilized to keep it down longer, and I took damage on the flashbang. And here lies sort of the issue with this build. It's okay-ish, but it's just not okay enough. With our current levels of Slayer power, it was taking things a little bit over a minute to kill when I was out doing Heroic Plus patrols, and these could be done just a little bit faster when we have access to +6 perks. Even having one of these perks be +6, it would have dropped the time to under a minute. Now it's time for the War Pike build that I put together. The reason I'm separating the War Pike from the other builds is that it should only ever really be run with the Hellion War Pike, with a niche utility option for Pangar Pike now that it has a unique effect. The build I ended up throwing together here was the Torgadoro War Pike with Hellion Bond with Discipline and Rage Hunter inside, the Rezakiri helmet again with Berserker, the Quillshot jacket with Wild Frenzy inside, the Chara gloves with Etheric Attunement, the Thrax legs with Acidic, and the Embermain lantern with Catalyst. Now if you're going to run Catalyst and the Wounding tonic, I don't really recommend running Acidic as well. You may get the Savagery damage bonus a little bit sooner, but it also means that you're not going to be breaking the parts. There are some other technique cell options like Barbed, maybe Molten, Evasive Fury that you could use instead. I didn't really end up playing around with this that much because at this point I was a little burned out on playing around with some of these subpar builds, but I did play around with it enough to know that Acidic probably won't be optimal if you're trying to keep the thing on the ground. But anyways, that's gonna do it for this video today. If you enjoyed the little meme builds I've thrown together here, consider liking the video. And if you enjoy Dauntless content, consider subscribing to the channel where I post Dauntless content every week. I've been Trevor, I go by the Mr. Trails, and I will catch you guys next time.